Hey, what is up you guys, it's Panda here, and welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. In the last video, we left off when we had just finished our poems, and we are getting ready to share them with the club. Now, I'm not joined by anyone in this episode, mainly for one reason. It's because, one, I needed to get this episode out, whether people were ready or not, but the other reason is that I had tried recording this with Grace and tried getting Larry on here as well, but my internet was absolutely garbage until just now, so I have been struggling to get anything recorded or anything like that with other people. So at this point I need to try and get something out there for you guys, and decided that this is probably going to be the best time, that I could do it before everything starts getting busier. So I needed to get this recorded, whether people were able to make it or not, and just get this out here for you guys. So hopefully, just being me, you guys can still enjoy the game itself. Maybe not necessarily like my commentary or anything like that, because I know that I definitely do better with other people, but hopefully you guys understand all that. As for voice lines that Grace had, I will try my best to do all of them except for Sayori, because Sayori, I cannot hit a high pitch, so that's just not gonna happen.
Panda, fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, what a coincidence, huh?
Seriously speaking though, I'm happy to see you back here. I would have been disappointed if you ran away on us. Haha.
Hey, I enjoyed myself last time, so why wouldn't I come back?
True enough. Feel free to make yourself at home before we start on our club activities.
Thanks, will do. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I realized that I go monotone when I do my my voice in my head, so I'm just gonna stick with that because it stands out. Sayori and I were the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out.
Panda, I'm glad to see you here again.
Who knew that something so simple would warrant so much thanks? First Monica, now Yuri.
I know that it may be a bit overwhelming to be thrown into a new hobby so suddenly, much less an organization centered around that hobby. So don't hesitate to let me know if you ever need any help. Or any club member for that matter. That is to say, feel free to ask any one of us for assistance.
Right, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Don't worry though, it's not like I've never read anything before. I even remembered to write a poem for today, if you'll believe it. Oh god, what did Grace do for this one? She sounds more like, I guess a little bit more like sour tone, so it's, we'll believe it when we see it. Something like that. I know that it's not going to sound anything like Grace's, and I know that I'm probably like seriously disappointing her right now, but this is literally the best I can do.
We'll believe it when we see it.
Hey, it's not like I need to have a university degree to write a poem. It was just like any other school assignment. Although it might be a little new to me, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to write a bad poem, you mean? She's got me there. And that's why I never said I wrote a good poem. Natsuki smirks at me, seemingly pleased that I'm not offended by her teasing.
Well, good is often subjective when it comes to subjects like these. I'm sure you did fine, Panda.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Try not to overhype my work, though.
Yeah, Yuri. If you keep your expectations low, you'll never be disappointed. Besides, I bet this is the first extracurricular Pen has done since high school started. So extra work is probably really foreign to him. Again, she's not wrong, but she doesn't have to say it like that. Natsuki, you're being unfairly harsh. Panda, what would you say your main hobbies are?
Wow, she's really putting me on the spot here. I know I'm playing into your teasing right now, but yes, I spend a lot of my time playing games and watching anime.
And that's all you need to know. That's a bit rich coming from someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room.
What? Natsuki splutters to a halt. Looks like a certain someone knows how to dish it out, but can't take it.
Manga is literature!
Swiftly defeated,
Natsuki plops back into her seat. I can't do Sayori. Don't worry, you guys. That's the highest I'm going. I can't go any higher. Panda always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He's always... I can go a little higher. He's always been there when I need it. When we were kids, he'd always be around to help me with stuff. Oh, are you two childhood friends? I glanced at Sayori. Despite her cheery recollection of our childhood memories just then, Yuri's question is a reminder that we haven't spent much time together in a long time. I accidentally clicked. It's a tad awkward. Yeah, we've known each other for a while, haven't we? We smile at each other. I'm really hoping we can use the club to reconnect. I need to turn down the volume, because I can't hear myself talking. Such a history with one another. I imagine you've shared so much together. You could say that. Would you believe Sayori is still as clumsy now as she was 10 years ago? Hey, meanie, that's not true. Oh? Need I tell Yuri about the time you tried to cook lunch and almost set your house on fire? Her face turns pink, and she rushes to interrupt me. Anyway, I'm sure you two could be just as good of friends. After all, you're both in the literature club now. Yeah. Look forward to it. Yuri looks hopeful at hearing this, although I can't help but wonder, given the maturity and intelligence she carries so elegantly, and how her passion for reading is much stronger than my own, will it be as easy as Sayori thinks it is? Still, it's at least worth a try. Yay! Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori. Me? It's not much, really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll like it. What is it, Yuri? Yuri made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. I was going to wait to give it to you at the appropriate time, but... I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. Now I've ruined the surprise. The two girls both look dolefully down. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so this is still a pleasant surprise to me. Just knowing that you went through the effort to get me something makes me feel really welcomed. No matter what, I'm sure it will make me happy. Is that so? Of course. Thanks for being so considerate, Yuri. You're welcome. It was the least I could do. Anyway, if that's the case, here it is. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. Isn't this the book from yesterday? Upon seeing the confused look on my face, she hastens to explain. I thought you might like to, have your own copy so that you can read it on your own as well. I honestly don't know what to say. How is it that she's only known me for a day, yet she's already done something this thoughtful for me? Oh, Yuri, thank you. That's really thoughtful of you, but, you didn't have to do that for me. I feel kinda bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that. I just, I understand if you don't want to read with me anymore, so... Honestly, she gets more adorable by the minute. I agree to that statement, though. Please, it's fine. I'd love to read it with you. I just wasn't expecting you to buy me a copy of my own. Are you sure? I don't want to force you. Seriously, Yuri, I'm sure. After all. I grin at her. It is a good book. She timidly returns my smile, relaxing a little bit. I'm glad you seem to think so. How are you liking it so far? She looks at me with wide, expectant eyes. She must be really worried that I'm not enjoying it as much as her. To be honest, I've been pleasantly surprised. While horror isn't really my thing, it really kept my attention. Even though I haven't gotten very far yet, I find myself feeling sorry for the protagonist. The language is pretty, engaging. It certainly makes me think about it. As I praise the book, her face grows visibly more relieved, and her eyes light up as I mention the language. I'm glad you think so. One not only needs to look at what is being said, but how it's phrased. It can entirely change the desired message, wouldn't you agree? Oh boy, I hope we don't get into an in-depth discussion about the language. I'm still nowhere near Yuri's level with this sort of thing. Oh, totally. I never really thought about it until you brought it up with me. You really made me look at it with a bit more scrutiny than I would normally. She blushes at this, turning away slightly. Really? I helped you with that? I have to admit, you really managed to open my eyes to this sort of thing. Or should I say, my third eye? Hold up. ... Wait, insert crickets. Yuri's silence makes me nervous. Did I make a mistake? You know, because the book mentions the third eye, and there's an eye on the cover. I see. Probably best not to comment on her accidental continuation of the pun. Tough crowd. Oh, I see. You were making a joke. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Oh, I love it. No worries. I just thought it was a good pun. She smiles bashfully. Yes, it is quite humorous, isn't it? Phew. I think that means everything is okay now. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off the scheduled activities for the club. Like the poetry thing, I've already steeled myself for the critique I'll probably be receiving. But it seems that we have some downtime before then. Ah well, looks like I won't be able to just immediately get it over with. What are the others doing right now? Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner, probably discussing club matters, given that they are the president and vice president. As expected, Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. A few huffs of annoyance sound from her direction every once in a while. Everyone seems to be doing their own thing today. Natsuki is rummaging around in the cupboard, and Yuri is sitting by herself, silently engrossed in her book. Meanwhile, Monica and Natsuki seem to be talking animatedly about something. I think they just announced that, though. I'm not really in the mood to read anything. I slump down into the nearest desk. Closing my eyes, I end up listening in on Sayori's conversation with Monica. The problem with the literature club... Oh, wait. Okay, so this is them like, I can faintly hear this then. So I'm gonna get really close to the microphone. So I'm sorry if this is really loud. The problem with the literature club is that it just doesn't sound particularly exciting. Plus, people are probably have their own preconceptions about what the club will be like. I'm a bit worried. Oh wait, no. I'm sounding like Yuri now that I'm whispering it. I'm a bit worried that they might assume we're all pretentious and haughty. Yeah, it's a real shame that people can't look past their assumptions. Still, I'm confident that we can come up with something. We can't just give up. This festival is a real chance to show everyone what literature is all about. After all, we have such a variety here. Everyone's poems and writing styles are so different. Natsuki loves manga, and Yuri's really into horror. There should be something here for everyone, you know? Agreed! I'm glad everyone has such different tastes. It really helps bring the club to life. That's exactly what we want everyone else to see. We just need to find a way of showing how fun literature can be. Something that really stands out and appeals to their creative sides. Wait, no. That doesn't solve the problem, though. Huh? What do you mean? Well, even if we come up with the most fun thing ever, I don't think people will come in the first place if it's a literature event. So, I think it's more important to figure out how to get people interested in the first place, right? And then once they're here, we can do whatever to appeal to their creative sides. Huh. Oh wait, I'm just gonna... There we go. Huh. This is a side to Sayori I haven't seen before. She's really taking this seriously and giving it a lot of thought. Excellent point, Sayori. Well, where would I begin? Where would I be without my vice president? Okay, do you think food will get the job done? I can practically hear Sayori's face light up, even though I have my eyes closed. Food? What kind? You like that idea, huh? I was thinking... Cupcakes! Oh, Jesus Christ, that sounded awful. Natsuki would love that. Good thinking. Her cupcakes are so good. That works out perfectly. What? That wasn't why you suggested it? Cupcakes are...
I can't read.
Cupcakes speak to my creative tummy.
I thought that said creativity, so I was like, I was trying to say creativity, but it's just creative.
Seriously, they really helped me write.
Insert crickets.
Okay, cupcakes will do fine. All this talk about food has me hungry. Anyway, don't forget we still have to sort out the details of the festival itself.
I tune out the rest of the conversation as tiredness takes a stronger hold on me. Sayori is still her usual self, bubbly and goofy. I guess some people never change. It brings a smile to my face. Although I was surprised to hear her so dedicated. To see her so dedicated. I always remember her as the kind of person who just improvises things. Kinda like me, actually. Oh, hi! Oh, Jesus Christ! I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for you to just like literally be in my face. Whoa! I didn't expect to see Sayori's face, taking up my vision when I opened my eyes. Literally in my face. 6 feet, Sayori. I nearly fall out of my chair.
Wake up, sleepyhead!
Geez, Sayori, you scared me.
Sorry. Hang on, I'm not sorry at all. Why were you napping? This is the literature club, not the napping club.
Wait, our school has a napping club?
Hey, don't try to change the subject, mister. The others won't like it if they catch you sleeping, you know. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Sayori, you've not changed one bit.
Huh?
You always used to look out for me. Back when we used to hang out.
I remember that. Do you remember that time when we went on a bike ride to that park? It feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah, I think I do, actually. It was in the summer. You're talking about the time I fell off my bike and hurt my knee, right?
Yeah, that one. You were in a lot of pain, but you were trying to act like it was no big deal.
I'm the tough guy. I gotta make sure that these girls know who they're talking to.
You were so silly. I had to go and get you a Band-Aid.
That memory makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. The fact I could tell straight away which memory she was talking about makes me wonder if we have a psychic bond or something. Good times, good times. By the way, did you know you had a big toothpaste stain on your collar?
No, I don't.
She nervously picks at the stain with her hands as I stand up and get a closer look at her. Wait a sec, your collar's sticking up a bit. Your hair doesn't look brushed either. You in a rush this morning? I reach out and run my fingers down the messy part of her hair in a vain attempt to straighten it out. Her hair is really soft and smells faintly of cinnamon. I'm probably making this worse. You really need a brush, Sayori.
No, I don't. My hair is just naturally like this. Okay, maybe it isn't, but it's super hard to get it right.
I give up with her hair and try to wipe off the stain with my fingers. Much like with her hair, I'm not having much luck. Come on, Sayori, you can't fool me. I know I've not seen much of you over the past few years, but I still know you. I can tell when you've been in a rush.
People wouldn't even notice these things.
They would. They just wouldn't say anything because they don't want to embarrass you. I give up with the stain and step back, looking at her blazer. But luckily for you, I'm not bothered about that. Also, why don't you button up your blazer? She shrugs.
It was too stuffy last time I tried.
With a sigh, I start buttoning it up. So yeah, we picked Sayori with the poem in the last episode, I think. Like, we definitely at least chose a lot of Sayori. And this is a mistake, because now I have to voice Sayori more, and this is the one character that I was worried about voicing.
This is so funny.
What is?
Well, I was just thinking how weird it is to have a friend who does these kind of things. I freeze. Now that I think about it, the situation is a little suggestive. Suggestive. After all, my hands are very close to her chest. Don't. Ah, come on, Panda. Get it together. You're just helping out a friend. That's all. Don't say that. There's nothing weird about this.
If you say so. It's okay though. I'm happy we're like this. It makes me feel like nothing has really changed between us. Don't you think?
Yeah, I guess. Why is this one button so hard to close?
Hey, be careful.
This is impossible. Does this thing even fit you properly?
It did when I bought it.
You know, if you actually buttoned it, you'd probably have realized sooner that it doesn't fit you anymore. Wait, what's so funny? Don't you see? It means my boobs got bigger again. No! How on earth am I meant to reply to that? Geez, Sayori, don't say that out loud. Anyway, you look a bit better now. Seeing Sayori's blazer buttoned up like that is weird.
What? It's so stuffy. I told you.
She quickly unbuttons it again. There goes all my hard work. What I was worried about is the fact that they have an option that censors nudity. So I'm not very optimistic about what this is gonna have in store for my channel, but I have censored. I have it censored. I've checked the box that says censor nudity. So anyone who's in this series to get some sweet nudes, I'm sorry, but that's not gonna happen for you.
Much better. Thank you for that, though. Even though I prefer the blazer unbuttoned, it was really thoughtful for you to do this for me, even if you were a bit of a meanie. I do try, you know.
Ah, I'm sorry. I just want what's best for you. That's all. Just try to give yourself a bit more time in the morning, okay?
Only if you promise to stop napping in the club.
I laugh. She got me there. It's a deal.
Okay, everyone.
Monica suddenly calls out.
Why don't we share the poems we wrote now? Yay! I can't wait to read yours, Panda. I don't expect too much.
Oh wait, that's me. I don't expect too much, Sayori.
By the way, you did remember to write a poem, right?
Don't worry, I'm not that much of a slacker. I've got it right here in my bag. I rifle through some stray papers to pull out the page that I wrote my poem on. While I can't help but feel a little bit nervous, I have to admit that I'm excited now. Talking to these girls has really calmed my nerves, and now I'm just eager to share my poem. After all, judging by each girl's personality, I doubt that anyone who would say anything nasty about it. Well, Natsuki, I don't know if she'd be unduly harsh, though. She just seems like the type of person who enjoys ribbing on her friends. Either way, I hope they realize that I put hard work into it. I figured that it'd only be fair to repay their warm welcome by showing effort in the club activities.
Now that's it. Now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait!
Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaves torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a neat black composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. She's going to put us all to shame. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. Who should I share my poem with first? Alright, y'all. What are we doing? I don't think I should go after a specific character, because if the poems, like if the words in the poems that we choose determine who I end up spending more time with, I already know like who all those words belong to. So I don't think it's necessarily right for me to go after one character. Grace and I think when Grace and I were in the last video, I think Grace mentioned like, oh hey, we're gonna be able to choose from Monica now, but it didn't seem like we were able to. So now I am very curious as to whether Monica shows up at all. But either way, I'm just gonna go top to bottom here, so I'm just gonna go with Sayori. I'm definitely most comfortable sharing it with Sayori first. Oh, I opened up Steam. My fault. There we go.
Wow, Panda! This is so good! Seriously, this is your first poem?
Huh? It's not that good, jeez.
Seriously, it is! I love it! I had no idea you were such a good poet.
Sayori, you're overreacting a bit. It's really nothing special.
Trust me, it is. How did you write it?
Huh? What'd you mean?
Like, what did you think of while you wrote this?
This is gonna sound a bit weird, but I thought of you. She gives me a brief look of disbelief. A faint blush on her cheeks.
Me?
Yeah, hey, not in like a weird way or anything. I just thought of words that reminded me of you and went along with that. It just felt kind of natural doing it in that way, I guess.
Well, if it works, it works. Looks like this club really is the best place for you.
Well, I'm glad you liked it, Sayori. Good to know that I'm not totally in over my head here. Insert crickets. She looks at me for a moment, not saying anything. There's a few moments of an odd silence. Earth to Sayori? She jumps slightly.
Sorry. I'm just not used to seeing you around again, that's all. To have you in the club writing poems. It's lovely, though. It just takes a little getting used to.
Yeah, that's understandable. I'm a bit surprised myself, to be honest. But I'm enjoying it here so far.
That's good to hear. Do you want to read my poem now? I'm not very good, though.
Only one way to find out.
Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast.
You know, Sayori, same. I'm actually recording this. I actually just ate a couple donuts before I recorded this. Like, I'm still hungry.
Well, what do you think?
I hesitate as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback. It's really you.
What's that supposed to mean?
As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel really good inside.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect, as this is my first time reading your poetry. But the way this was written, I don't know, it feels really wholesome and cheery. Oh, I thought that was serious. Like you are. I also really liked the last line. Trust you of all people to include breakfast in their poems.
Hey, I was eating when I wrote...
Sayori stopped speaking immediately, as if she accidentally let something slip. Oh, so you wrote the poem this morning?
Huh? No. Well, maybe. I forgot to write it last night.
Well, at least we know where your inspiration comes from.
Eggs and toast.
Well, I suppose if it sounds silly, but it works, then it isn't silly.
Well, it's debatable.
Either way, thanks for showing me your poem, Sayori. It was really good.
I'm happy you think so. Anyways, next time I won't forget. Tomorrow's poem will be even better.
I'll hold you to that. Okay, we're gonna go to Natsuki next. Insert crickets. What's about what I expected from someone like you? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What I mean is that it's just kind of average. Doesn't really evoke any emotions.
So kind of bland for your tastes? Natsuki froze her eyebrows at me.
My tastes? What's that supposed to mean, huh?
Oh, nothing.
Well, anyways, guess I'll just show you my poem now. Not that you'll like it or anything. Sometimes, some folks are winners, some only lose. Some are go-getters, some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all. Sometimes we give up. What else can we do?
Interesting poem, Natsuki. Insert crickets. Told you you'd hate it. Actually, I like it.
What? Don't just say it's good because I'm a girl. Be honest.
What? No, it has nothing to do with you being a girl.
I genuinely like the poem.
Really?
Yeah, it's simple, but it's still pretty effective.
Finally, someone who gets it. People in high school think poetry has to be so formal and vague. But they don't realize that simple writing is just as effective, if not more. The reader shouldn't have to search for the meaning. That's just stupid. Besides, the simpler the writing, the more emphasis on wordplay. Like how I made most of the lines start with some.
Yeah, I noticed that. Made the last couplets seem more powerful.
Yes! That's exactly what I was going for.
Well, good job then.
Ha! Didn't expect something like that from the youngest of the club, did ya?
Yeah, guess not.
And that's it. We go to Yuri next.
My favorite. Yuri scans my poem with her eyes with a blank expression on her face. So, my recording just stopped. So I'm so happy that I just caught that. So, how was it?
Sorry, I suppose as far as poetry goes, this isn't bad, but I'm not immensely impressed by it.
Yuri turns away, shamefully.
I didn't mean for that to sound so blunt.
Don't worry about it. I didn't take it that way. What makes you think that? Insert crickets. Insert crickets. Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes, more than enough time for her to finish reading. Is everything okay?
Oh goodness, sorry. I know what I want to convey, but I need to find the right words.
I understand. Take your time.
Okay, I think I know what I want to say. Do you have any prior writing experience?
To be honest, not really. Is that obvious?
I don't mean to be rude, but I guess that it might be after reading through it.
Ah, so it's that bad.
No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry.
Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. Yuri seems to be incredibly introverted. It must take her a long time to warm up to new people. Don't worry about it. We all start somewhere, right? What were you saying?
Right, I've just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that showed up in your poem. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you tried very hard to make the structure of this poem your own. And that's okay, but if this is the first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures, couplets, sonnets, haikus, and the like. If you're not confident in your writing style, it'll show in your piece.
It's like Yuri is a totally different person when she gets going. She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly.
Again, that's not your fault. I think that once you've studied poetic structures and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition.
I appreciate the feedback, Yuri. It sounds like you're well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay if I took a look at what you've written?
Oh goodness, of course. Please let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process.
Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club?
Tumble. Hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions, dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pierces my eyelids, barely painful, and pulls them shut. Even so heavy.
That's
ever so heavy. I think I've misplaced something. As there's a piece missing, you need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. There are more important things for you to do today.
Insert crickets.
I'm sorry if my writing's a bit illegible. Once my pen touches the page, I just want to get my thoughts down.
It's fine, Yuri. I was able to read it just fine. I wasn't thinking that at all.
Are you sure? It seemed to take you a while to read it.
Well, I guess I don't see cursive often. But it's really nice when I do. Your writing is actually quite pretty.
Is that so? I'm glad you think so.
It made your poem stand out even more as well. It's as though your handwriting fits your word choice, or vice versa. It wasn't too short, was it? I'm used to writing longer pieces, but since this is the first time we're sharing, I thought it would be easier to share. That makes sense. Do you mind telling me what it's about, though? I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to write something confusing. Oh, it's not that. I just want to be sure I'm reading it properly. I see. I suppose from a cursory glance, it might not be obvious. But part of what makes poetry magical is how you can conjure up a vivid image with your words. While on the surface it might seem a bit out there, if you look a little deeper, you might find a deeper meaning hidden amongst the lines compounded by the metaphors used. For example, the words and images in this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnants of something lost to the past, and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it. Huh. That's pretty impressive when you put it that way. I wouldn't go that far, but thanks for the compliment. Hopefully during your time here, your understanding of poetry will grow and these things will come more naturally to you. I'll do my best. Thank you for sharing with me, Yuri. Of course. And we have Monica.
Hi, Panda. I hope you've been enjoying your time here.
Yeah, definitely. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming.
Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice.
I guess so.
Anyway, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have. It's my duty as president to make sure that everything is perfect. I'd have to say that you've been doing a good job of that already. I doubt that I'll ever have anything to complain about. Either way,
wait, was that me reading or is that Monica still? I'm just making sure. That was me reading. I'd have to say that you've been doing a good job of that already. I doubt that I'll have anything ever to complain about.
Either way, I'm always open to new suggestions for the club as well. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. She says that, but it's gonna be a bit intimidating to try to criticize Monica, of all people. I really don't think that there's going to be anything I'll need to do. That's not what that says. I really don't think that there's going to be anything I'll need to speak up about either. One of the girls would probably say something before I ever needed to. Natsuki definitely would.
Now that that's out of the way, feel like sharing your poem with me?
I mean, I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I?
You shouldn't be thinking like that.
Yeah, I was just joking. Kinda.
It's alright, Panda. I get that it's probably really awkward for you to share a creative work when you're just a beginner. Especially since the rest of us have a bit more experience than you do.
That's an understatement.
Don't worry though, we're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I don't think many people out there share their poetry on a regular basis. But it's the sort of thing that you get used to pretty quickly once you get it over with.
Yeah, that's true. I hand my poem over with a sigh. Don't grade me too harshly.
You'll be fine.
I watch nervously as she quickly scans through my poem.
Interesting poem, Panda. It has a very mellow yet emotional feel to it. I didn't know you were this in tune with your feelings, Panda.
I can feel my cheeks growing hot at her teasing. You think?
No need to feel embarrassed about this. Poetry is a very personal thing, so it's not surprising to see you putting your raw emotions down on paper. Actually, your poem reminds me of something Sayori would write.
Really? How so?
I mean, you and Sayori are really good friends, right? It shouldn't be too far-fetched for you two to write similarly.
I guess you could say that we used to be good friends, at least. We kind of drifted apart over the years, so I guess it surprises me that we could still have things like this in common.
This club is the perfect opportunity to become closer again, don't you think?
I guess so. Anyway, much like yours, Sayori's writing tends to have a gentle feel to it. She often uses her words to quietly meander through her imagination and to explore different emotions. Most of the time, I find that she addresses happiness and sadness in equal amounts, creating a bittersweet tone. Wow, that's kind of unexpected of her. Maybe she's changed more throughout the years than I thought. I know, right? Who knew that someone so happy could enjoy the pain of tragedy as well? You know, sometimes you sound like Yuri when you talk about poetry. Eh, really? Oh, she looks angry. Yo, she mad. Yeah, I guess you really like it, huh? You could say that. It'd make me really happy if you could get into poetry as well. No pressure, right? No pressure, right? For real though, feel free to explore different things and experiment. Maybe you'll find yourself writing in a way you never would have thought you would. Just like Sayori does. Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up doing a lot different things before I settle on my own style. And it'll take a while before I'm completely comfortable in sharing my writing. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd probably be more surprised if you immediately started writing with your own style. Most people go through the same process that you're going through right now. Trying new things is the best way to find the kind of style that suits you after all. Anyway, when you talk to everyone about it, naturally, they'll be a bit biased towards their own kinds of styles. After all, I know I am. But don't force yourself to write in some way just because someone else wants you to. You should try to focus on what you want to do. Feel free to ask for help anytime though. I try to be as objective as possible when I talk to people about these topics. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? Always on duty as club president, eh? Well, let's get to reading then. The box. I see, but I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass. My prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back, the understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all farce. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there had seemed so bright. It was so free. So many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realize now that there was never a choice. I was stuck in this box, and they, on the other side, chose for me. Ah, so this is referring back to the original game, where she was, like, controlling the script and everything like that, and she was, like... So this is supposed to be directed towards the player. So, what do you think? I don't know... I don't quite know how to say it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. I definitely get a certain kind of feeling from reading your poem, but I'm not sure how to put it into words. I can understand that. Just try to articulate it however you want. You can use metaphors outside of poetry, you know? Well, when you put it like that, I don't know. I'd say that your poem is kind of abstract. Very vague, at least. Like, I can't quite tell what exactly you're talking about. But even so, I can feel what the speaker's feeling. Yeah, I think that describes my poem pretty well. Eh, really? I do like my metaphors. Well, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a poem without a metaphor, actually. Yeah, they're pretty well covered in English class, at least. The ability to convey emotions and concepts through words describing things even the writer might never have experienced before. I find that really powerful. When you write metaphorically, it allows the reader to focus on the emotions in the poem. I guess it kind of opens it up for the reader to have their own interpretations. Exactly. It's fascinating when people can diverge from the creator's original intent to find their own meaning in a work of art. Yeah. What was your original intent, though? I think it'd be more fun if you tried to figure it out yourself. That just makes me more curious now. Maybe I'll tell you one day. But for now, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or anything for that matter, you get too fixated on a specific point. But if you try so hard to make it perfect, you'll never make any progress. So the best thing to do is to just force yourself to get into something down on paper and then tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and write whatever's in your heart.
Easier said than done. I get what she's trying to say, though. It's better to look back on your work with fresh eyes after you've gotten something down sometimes.
That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening.
Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the classroom. That was surprisingly fun. I'll bet stressful. I already knew that I wouldn't be able to write to the quality of the girls, but I tried my best. Everyone here is incredibly talented. Well, all the girls at least. Across the room, Sayori and Monika are happily chatting again. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As I watch, Natsuki breezes through Yuri's poem, her eyes skipping over the words. Meanwhile, Yuri stares at the paper in her hands, smiling sadly. Natsuki quickly hands Yuri her poem back.
Here, I'm done.
Already?
Yeah, it's not like I was super hard to read. I'm not illiterate, you know.
Huh, it was hard for me to understand at least. Insert crickets.
I just want to make sure that you caught all the figurative language that I employed. Yeah, I did. It was fancy. Thanks. However, I believe that you'd enjoy it more if you looked deeper into it. I enjoyed it plenty already. Anyway, are you finished with my poem then? Yes, yours is cute. Cute? Didn't you learn anything from our conversation yesterday?
Yuri looks shocked, regret seeping into her expression. Seems like both girls still hold their own prejudices, despite whatever common ground they have.
How can it be cute? You're standing there thinking that I haven't read your poem when it's really you who hasn't read my poem? It's clearly about the push and pull between giving up and trying hard. I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. Well, maybe you should look deeper into my poem. Because I use the type of language on purpose. I see. But if I may give a suggestion, these more involved subject matters may be better suited to more complex diction. The art of poetry is deeply intertwined with... Look, I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. I'm sorry, but I don't quite understand. Writing in this way doesn't make you look cool or smart, okay? It just makes you look super pretentious. If you write with a thesaurus open next to you, you're just going to alienate everyone. Using all these big words to make up for lack of depth. Poetry isn't about impressing people, so you can just stop.
Holy crap.
The music just died.
I stare wide-eyed at Monika and Sayori, who have now also fallen silent. They stare back at me, looking unsure of what to do. I'm guessing that they don't usually have many arguments in the club, although tensions between Natsuki and Yuri already seemed kind of high.
Lack of depth. Yeah, that's right. So if I can give some suggestions now. Excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I really must ask. What makes you think that I'll accept your advice after you've been so rude to me? Huh? Rude? That was just blunt honesty. Do you ever consider that other people don't hold the same opinions as you? What are you trying to say?
Insert crickets.
Do I really need to spell it out for you? Yeah, you do. I want to see if you're really going there.
I did not mean to hit that.
The irony. I dare you to say it.
Yuri gives a small laugh of disbelief.
I must thank you, Natsuki. I've never been this angry in my life. It's actually giving me the courage to speak up. Is this why you're angry all the time? Guys, we shouldn't...
I can't do two voices at once. So,
This doesn't involve you. This doesn't involve you.
I'm just doing that.
Sayori, please don't rob me of my moment. So this is your moment to shine or something? Strange thing to take pride in, don't you think? No, it's my moment to finally speak my mind. While I still have the strength to. Yuri, Natsuki, have you ever realized how selfish you are? Suddenly, Yuri seems to be overpowering everyone else in the classroom. What? Everything always needs to go your way. You always jump to conclusions and make rash decisions without regard for the consequences. And it's never your fault, is it? You don't know me. No, you don't know me either. And yet you spoke as if you knew everything about me. Quite simply, you don't. The very fact you don't think about your blunt honesty was incredibly rude. Just goes to show how narrow-minded you truly are. Seizing her moment, Yuri boldly carries on, disdain dropping from each word. I know it must be difficult. It must be a difficult concept for you to understand, but the whole world doesn't revolve around you and your manga. So tell me, why should I take advice from someone who can only see their own perspective? Everyone knows it. Monica, Sayori, even Panda. Don't you remember how hostile you were to Panda when he first joined us? I wasn't being hostile. We haven't had a new member in a long time. Sorry, not sorry for keeping on my toes. And that's how I talk to everyone, not just to Panda. Am I supposed to change my whole personality to cater to how you think I should be? If Panda has a problem with my jokes, he can tell me. You don't have to speak for him. Yuri closes her eyes and shakes her head, carrying on as if she didn't hear the outburst. Do you really expect a new member to be able to speak up so easily? Not everyone is as unafraid of being as brutish cretin as you. What? The rest of us were so excited to have a new member, but did that thought ever cross your mind? No, you just let your own selfish thoughts dictate your behavior. Selfish? They weren't You could have scared him off. That might have been what you wanted, but what about the rest of us? I just explained myself, for God's sake, but as per usual, you aren't listening. You know, for someone who's been ranting on about how narrow-minded I am, you're pretty intolerant yourself. There, I used a big word. Do I sound like Shakespeare yet? Am I worthy of your attention now? Ouch, both girls really have their claws out. Also, Monica and Sayori didn't have any issue with me yesterday. It's just you. Of course they did, Natsuki. They just didn't say anything. Monica's too responsible and Sayori's too kind. So why don't we ask Panda then, as the more unbiased spectator? Fine. Panda, who's right, me or Yuri? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? I don't even know what they want me to decide at this point. Should I just ignore all of the personal stuff and just talk about their poetry? That's what started the argument after all. But it's not like I'm a good judge of writing quality, given that I'm just a beginner. I don't think it would be fair for me to take either side either, especially since I'm new here. Maybe I should just defer to one of the club's leaders. Oh shit. I'm not even siding with Natsuki or Yuri anymore. That's an interesting concept, so I'm trying to get one of the leaders involved here. Now, the easiest thing to do would be getting in Monica because she's the president, but even then I feel like... I don't know how strict Monica is. Actually, you know what? No, I think I picked Monica... Did I pick Monica in the demo? I might have. I might choose Sayori. Let's just Sayori. I hate being put on the spot like this, but both Yuri and Natsuki are looking at me. While their hostility isn't aimed at me, I still feel like I'm the target for the anger in their eyes. Guys, I gulp nervously as a bead of sweat trickles down my neck. I'm really not the best judge for this. After all, I'm new, so I'm painfully aware of how weak my voice sounds. Neither girl looks impressed. Wow, real help you are. Natsuki, let me guess. Blah blah blah, you're being so rude? You're a broken record, Yuri. Shut up! Ah, so you're finally realizing how insolent you are. You got there in the end. Well done. You are such a bitch.
Stop!
We are all stunned into silence. I've never heard Sayori angry before, and even Natsuki looks taken aback. Immediately, the anger on Sayori's face is replaced by a flood of tears, the anger giving way to sadness.
Guys, enough of this. Please. You're tearing apart this club.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
But please don't do this. I love this place so much and you guys are both my friends. I hate it when people fight. It's horrible. This place means so much to me. And I know it means a lot to you guys as well. So please, can we stop arguing over whose style is better? It doesn't even matter. You're both unique and that's what counts.
Yuri and Natsuki are both looking incredibly ashamed of themselves. I guess neither of them expected that their argument would hurt Sayori so much. That once raging fire has been snuffed out, replaced with smoldering embers.
I really like your simple style, Natsuki. It's so nice to sit down and read a poem that springs to life. And I know the others do as well.
Monica and I nod in earnest, putting a small smile on Natsuki's face.
And Yuri, I'm amazed at how complex and deep your poems are. They are really in-depth. But there's no need to argue over which style is better. You can't really compare them anyway. It depends on what mood you're in.
She's right, guys. Sometimes you're just in the mood for something simple. Sometimes you might want something a bit more complex. It's like music or movies. People like a variety of things. You can't really say that comedy as a genre is better than action, can you? Both types appeal to different things. You wouldn't watch an action movie for the laughs, would you? I look over to Sayori and give her a reassuring smile. She returns with a watery smile of her own, rubbing away her tears.
You said it, Panda.
She turns to face Yuri and Natsuki once more.
Now you both said some stuff that was pretty mean, but I know neither of you meant it. Neither of you are narrow-minded. Although it would be nice if you could like each other's stuff a bit more. So could you guys try doing that a little, please, for me, for the club? I can't help but laugh as she puts on puppy dog eyes. I don't think she realizes that the right time to use them. Sure, whatever. I'll try. Yuri takes a deep breath, finally lifting her eyes off the floor. You're right, Sayori. I'll also make more of an effort. And Natsuki? What? Natsuki still looks quite defiant, as though expecting another insult from Yuri. I apologize for what I said. Your style has its own merits. Natsuki blinks, as though slapped in the face. She clearly wasn't expecting an apology. Meh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Your style is... She diverts her eyes downward once more. I guess what I'm trying to say is your style, you write pretty well. I shouldn't have said that stuff. Me neither. There's an awkward silence. That's much better, guys. Thank you for putting your differences aside. We all really appreciate it. I'll go make some tea. She rushes off as Natsuki wanders over to the closet. I glance over at Monica. She hasn't said a word throughout the whole argument, which surprised me. I should have been the one who said all of that. Why didn't you then? I winced as the words leave my mouth. They sounded more accusatory than I would have liked. Well, I know I'm the leader and I run the club, but I'm not the greatest with people. I frown. If she isn't great with people, how can she run a club? She must have caught confusion on my face as she hastened to explain. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm fine with people, it's just their drama that I can't really deal with. Well, that's why you have Sayori, right? Mm-hmm. She's an excellent vice president and able to deal with conflict much better than I can. Which is pretty embarrassing, at least for me. That should have been my duty to deal with, not hers. I don't blame you, seriously. It was pretty tough to get involved. I could barely speak up. True, but that's exactly what the sort of thing that a president should be able to deal with. Nah, come on, Monica. Don't see it like that. You and Sayori just have different strengths, that's all. I always thought of her as a little ditzy at times, but she definitely has a knack for social situations. Definitely. I'm very grateful to have her as my vice president.
Well, both of you do a really good job at running this place, so I know this is a bit of an early assessment, but you first impressions and all. She smiles sweetly at me, causing my stomach to knot. You're too kind, Panda. I'm glad Sayori brought you along to the club. I really do hope you stick around. Don't worry, I will. Monica seems like such a genuine person, and she makes a great president, regardless of what she might think. Hopefully I'll be able to properly get to know her during the school year. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing your poetry? I noticed that she carefully avoids mentioning the argument that just occurred.
It was a lot of fun!
Some moments were worth it.
It was alright.
Well, mostly.
Panda, how about you?
I actually really enjoyed it myself. It seems I do like expressing myself through poetry, a lot more than I initially thought. Everyone looks at me. Everyone intently looks at me. The girl's smiling at me. It was really cool getting to see everyone's different writing styles.
That's awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow, and hopefully you learned something from us too. So your poems will turn out even better.
Yeah. I think to myself a bit as I begin to pack up. Today, I managed to learn a little more about the kinds of poems that everyone likes. With any luck, I'll be able to learn about the girls as individuals throughout their themes and messages. I nod to myself, turning to Sayori. Hey Sayori, ready to walk home?
Sure!
Okay, see you guys tomorrow then. As we leave the club room, Sayori turns back to the other girls. I do the same. Natsuki smiles, then looks away to act like she doesn't care. Yuri awkwardly smiles and nods. And as expected from the school idol, Monica gives a friendly grin and waves back. Sayori, about what happened earlier.
What do you mean?
You know, like between what happened what happened between Yuri and Natsuki. I remember you told me yesterday that they sometimes bicker, but all their arguments are all their arguments normally that bad? I feel a little guilty as I ask her, as I know she doesn't like talking about conflict. There's a slight dip in the cheeriness of her voice as she replies.
No, not at all. They have their differences, but it's the first time I've ever seen them fight like that. They're both wonderful people, I promise. You don't hate them or anything, do you?
Oh, not at all. It's only normal for people to argue, I guess. I was just curious. After all, you know them better than I do. Sayori lets out a relieved sigh.
You know, Panda, it's been so nice seeing you again. I didn't really think we'd get to spend much time with one another again.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's been really fun hanging out again. I don't really know when we started drifting or why. Guess it was just life coming between us? She nods, looking a little reflective.
Still, I'm glad you let me...
Oh wait, that's me. Still, I'm glad you let me join the club. I'm not going to lie, at first I was a bit doubtful when you told me it was about literature. But hey, I guess it just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. She giggles, and I frown. Did I say something funny?
Nice pun. Did you even realize?
Huh? Pun? Ah, you mean about the book comment? Oh, and this is a literature club. Geez, looks like this club's really starting to rub off on me, isn't it? Sayori might be known as a bit of an airhead, but sometimes she can really notice things that others don't. I wonder, what's it really like inside her head? Can we insert the from inside out? Just what is going on inside her head?
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Ah, you haven't changed at all, Panda. You always know how to make me laugh.
I blush slightly. I've never really known how to react to that compliment, especially when it comes from the opposite sex. I'm glad I'm still able to do that. I'll be honest though, I didn't think I'd make so many new friends by joining the club.
Well, they're a really nice bunch. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, a pretty warm welcome. She nods contentedly. Anyway, let's see what the future holds. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
These girls are all interesting characters, aren't they? Different personalities and a variety of writing styles. Yet, they're all united under the same club. I briefly wonder how Monica found them all. In just 2 days, I feel like I've made progress with each member. Getting to know Yuri and Natsuki, actually getting to talk to Monica a little bit, and of course, reuniting with an old friend.
I never would have guessed this would all come from joining the club. But hey, I'm not complaining. Let's just hope my writing improves over the time so I can write poems to a standard more like theirs. Speaking of which, there's work to be done tonight. Let's do this.
I love this part. I think this is such an adorable thing. Like, it becomes night, we get ready to write our poems, and I absolutely love the chibi versions of those characters. Okay. We are going to end it here. So I'm going to save this right there. And I want you guys to know, I want you to look at this. I recorded the original version. I recorded the first video with Grace June 13th. I'm recording this as of June 26th, which is the Friday. And that is about 2 weeks in between recording. So I have not been able to get to this, and I really apologize for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. Also, if you guys haven't seen the video yet, the last one that I uploaded, make sure you guys go check it out. There's a little bit more detail, but I will have the link to our Discord in the description below, along with my Instagram, and the link to the Phantomizers channel, the group channel that I'm a part of. All of that will be down in the description below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys!